Hello, and welcome to ASMR Storytime. Tonight, I invite you to settle in and join me on a gentle journey through a quiet world where peace flows as slowly as a river, and the stars are not so far away. So get comfortable. Let your eyelids grow heavy. And let's begin. In a quiet, hidden corner of the world, where the trees lean in close to whisper their secrets, and moonlight dances on silver-tipped leaves, there stood a small cottage made of river stone and moss-covered wood. This was the home of a gentle woman named Aloan. Aloan was the lantern keeper. Every night, just as the sky turned from golden amber to soft lavender, she would rise from her creaky rocking chair, wrap herself in a woolen shawl, and step outside, into the hush of the approaching dusk. She moved slowly, thoughtfully, her boots pressing softly into the forest floor, covered in layers of pine needles and dew-speckled moss. The air smelled of cedar and lavender, and the sky above her was brushed with strokes of fading sunlight, like a watercolor left to dry. Aloan's job was simple, but sacred. She lit the lanterns that guided wanderers, from the edge of the woods, down to the sea. But these lanterns were unlike any others. Each one was a hand-blown globe, delicately etched with silver runes and filled not with oil, but with fireflies. Tiny, glowing creatures that flickered with stories they had gathered while fluttering through dreams. Aloan would gently lift each globe from its wooden hook, whisper a few quiet words, and then release it back to the night, where it would glow softly, leading the way home for anyone who might be lost. She remembered every lantern. Each one had a name. Each one had a memory. And she kept them all in her heart. As Aloan walked her lantern path, the forest hummed around her, not loudly, but with the quiet breath of life. Crickets chirped like distant lullabies. An owl blinked slowly from the hollow of an old oak tree. And every so often, a deer would peer from behind a fern, watching her pass with curious, sleepy eyes. The trail was narrow, but well-worn. Flanked by soft ferns, sleeping foxgloves, and mossy stones shaped like steps. It curved gently downhill, toward the cliffs, and the sea. Far below, the ocean sighed. Waves curled over themselves, again and again, like soft exhalations. And Aloan, hearing them, smiled. It was comforting. Predictable. Like the ticking of a gentle clock. The path ended at a weathered wooden bench, overlooking the water. Here, Aloan always paused. She would sit, for a few long minutes, her lantern basket by her side, and watch the horizon. Some nights, the sky would shimmer with stars. Other nights, it would wear a shawl of fog, wrapping everything in mystery. But always, the sea would sing. Aloan would sometimes hum along. A quiet, ancient melody taught to her by her grandmother. No words. Just soft tones, meant to comfort the night itself. When her lanterns were lit, and the path glowed with gentle golden light, Aloan would return to her cottage. It stood nestled between two leaning birch trees, with ivy curling up its chimney and wild herbs growing along the windowsill. Inside, it was warm. The fire crackled softly in the hearth. A kettle gently hissed on the stove. And the scent of chamomile and vanilla drifted through the air. Aloan would hang her shawl by the door, slip off her boots, and pour herself a cup of tea. She'd settle into her rocking chair, her cat, Thistle, curling up at her feet. And she would open her journal. Not a journal for facts or schedules, but for memories. For dreams. And for the names of the fireflies she had released. Tonight, she wrote. Lantern number 216 flickered like a heartbeat, slow and steady. I think it carried a dream of a girl, learning to play the cello. She was nervous, but the notes were full of hope. She smiled, and closed the book. Outside, the lanterns bobbed gently in the breeze. Soft pulses of light, like lullabies drifting across the trees. And the world, slowly, fell asleep. So now, let yourself wander into that forest path, lit by the warm glow of 1,000 tiny stars. Feel the moss beneath your feet. Smell the firewood and wild mint. Hear the ocean's slow, endless breath. And remember, you are safe. You are warm. And the night is kind.